think what kind of features, what kind of needs we will be catering to, and that all of that had to be covered in a spec document, which is a Word document, along with wireframes. So wireframes like a diagram of the feature which we are suggesting. Okay. Uh, yep. Yes. Can you, Shubham? Yeah. Okay. So in this case itself, it was given to us that like like you have to target the new car buyers, you have to identify their needs, and then you have to see how you will improve them. Okay. So let's go ahead with this case itself. And now this we will open this case to you guys, and this is the problem statement in front of you. For a new customer who's coming, you have to improve the user experience. So you have to first identify their needs, and then you have to see how you can improve them. Along with that, uh, there is one more thing, that the ad revenue for Microsoft should not be impacted. So when I say experience, what I mean is that whenever you go and search something on Google, the easiest option for Google is to just give you some links right in front of you, and you can go to the web page, whatever you want to do. For example, you're searching for a car, they can just list out the links, right? But that's a very normal user experience. To improve the customer experience, you can include some features in Google search, where just by writing your search query, you can get some additional information apart from just some random links for web pages, right? So that's one part of improving experience for a customer, right? Okay, so let's go ahead.
Yeah, so you have read the problem. You have read the case. I'll still keep it here. Now we want to know from you, what do you think the problem statement is and what are the crux of the problem? Like, see, Anirudh, you're mentioning that what do you think about making experience better? Is it making search faster or increasing relevance? So that is how we are coming to it. This is the fourth step in the whole case. First, understand what the problem is for Google or Bing. So is it something that I'm getting it's slow or I'm getting wrong results? Then it will become, should it be fast or should it be more relevant? So now you have this problem in front of you. Quickly tell few of the things that you think are the crux of the problem. What we should focus on.
So just write down 2 3 sentences in the chat that what you think, as Shubham mentioned, that what you are getting from this first slide, what the problem statement is. So there is no wrong answer, so you can write
Yeah.
anything you want. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. User experience better data directly. Yeah, so Abhishek, it's quite sorry, I'm not cold calling everyone. Okay, so it's just that when you say that you want to improve experience, you have to give the solid points and not keep it abstract. So when you say improving experience, what exactly do you mean by that? So I think we have great answers here. We'll start with this. So we'll tell you how we went about it. Okay. So this is just the replication of that, and we'll come to exact problem in the next slide. So the problem is it's for new car users. Okay, so you reject all the duplicate, the second hand all users, those are rejected. They should research, they should be able to research everything about that car. That is an important aspect here. Then they should know what car I should be able to buy, looking at the whole research. Research should be a part of Bing. The selection should be a part of Bing, and the revenues for Microsoft should not reduce. Okay, so okay, and now who do you think? Wait, let it be. So this is how based on that the customer is.
So basically, what many of you have written on the chat is something which is the user need. Okay. So right now we just want to, the first step of understanding the complete problem. The first step of the circles framework is just to comprehend the situation. So you need to know what the problem statement right in front of you. Then we will move to the user. Then we will go to the user needs. Okay. So some of you have written the problem statement correctly. And now let's just go to the who is the customer. Okay, so now we have to figure out that what kind of users will actually come to Bing and search for a car. So we have listed down some points which were common to our solution last year. um, so the age of the customer should be between 24 to 60 years, right? Whoever is searching for a car will be between this. The customer wants to know about different car options which are available. So whenever you're going to buy, you're going to Bing and you write, let's say, cars under 10 lakhs in India, right? So you want to see all the options available to you, right? And along with that, you might also want to see what are the features available in each car, right? If it's a 4 drive, if it's a 6 drive car, and what kind of petrol, diesel, transmission, and all that, right? So our feature should be able to show all of that information, right? Then the customer also wants to see what kind of car will suit him or her the most, and the customer might also want to try the car before buying, right? So all of these are customer needs. So all of these defines who the customer actually is, right? Now next we can go to identify what the customer really wants. Why are they actually coming to Bing to search for a car? Yep.
So few of some of you rightly mentioned that these are the problems and these are the use cases that user faces, like relevant, you don't get relevant answers or not or something. But as the problem stated, we have to streamline the process of researching, selecting and buying. So that is something that should happen on me. Relevance is a very small part that can that is a minor part in the first step before research. So to understand that, we try to try to come down to few user problems based on, now this is a very small simple thing, because car search is something that everyone does. So we went through user journey, that how does a customer or user go by the user journey, and this is how the all, not all, this is not exhaustive list, these are the main problem that we thought might a car buyer might face. Okay, so some of you, like Shikha just mentioned, that there are comparison analysis, right? So this is one of our problem that they want to compare. So out of the whole journey of researching to buying, this is the problem that he or she faces. You have to visit multiple websites for all the cars, right? You might have to go to the original websites, to their own let's say for Tata Nano, you go to Tata and so on. Then, and while going through multiple websites, the time spent is enormous. Then there are, for every car you have 25 plus features to compare. Then once I know that this is the car I want to buy, is it even available near me to buy? Then how do I compare the different variants? Because every car will have, so there's i10, i20, even in i10 there will be multiple colors and all. So this is how do I compare that different variants and models. It should have some kind of filtering, because I want to, there will be some parameters that will be important for me, some that won't be. Then I should be able to buy directly, and I should also be able to see all the specifications because I am researching well, right? So these are some problems and needs that we thought a user might face, and these can cover maybe 70-80% of any user's problem. There might be a few more, but we thought these are most reach. Okay.
Yeah. So just adding to that user needs part. So basically, firstly, this is not an exhaustive list, right? And the problem is, how did we come across this list? How did we come across these 10 points to start with, right? So for that, you can do multiple things. Firstly, for some use cases which you yourself might face, like searching for a car, you yourself know what your user needs are, right? The second thing is, you can directly ask the customers. So you have identified the customers in the last step, that who the user actually is. You can directly talk to people that whenever you are searching for a car on Google, what exactly are you looking for and what's your problem? What problems do you face? So people will automatically start listing out these things, and then you can figure out what are the main problems which people are facing.
Yeah, to add to that, I forgot one thing. So I got some of the problem from a BCG report. So basic Google search. Okay, I searched some reports and all regarding the consumer behavior. So you can do 2-3 things. Either, as Antriksh said, you ask them, you know about them, or you can do a survey, a quick survey. If not survey, you can just have a quick call or interview with some of your friends who use or interact with those features, or you can try and find some report online. So as you saw, we have some 8 features here, but it's practically infeasible to cater to all the 8 features, right? So we prioritize them into first some goals and some non-goals. Goals will be the ones that we are targeting for this version or the initial versions, and non-goals maybe for the later versions or not at all. So Antriksh, should you take this?
Yeah. So basically, this is something which they have also asked you in the problem statement, that when you are designing a feature, you cannot build all the 10 or 20 features at the same time, right? Because a lot of investment, yes, so a lot of investment goes into deciding what all has to be developed, right? It is an investment of time, it is an investment resources. So you need to figure out what is the goal and non-goal of this specification. Okay. So Anirudh, we will come whether this is an MVP or not. So prioritizing user needs is part of the MVP, and then building the features, like deciding what features have to be built, that's the total MVP, right? So right now we are prioritizing what customer needs have to be picked up, right? So we had 10 needs in the last slide. So here we have divided those needs into goals and non-goals. So we, for goal part, we know that this is something which we will be catering to. We will target searching for a model, comparison between models, okay, to check if this suits the need of the users. So user has something in their mind, they want a petrol car, they want an automatic car. Can the user do that with our feature, right? Then can a user find a dealer, and can the user filter on basis of their specifications which they have in mind? So this is something which we are targeting, and there are some things which we are not targeting. So buying a car is a very big need. You need to make a lot of integrations to actually buy a car, right? From Bing's perspective, you need to have a lot of integrations. So that's why it's part of non-goal, and we might pick it up later, right? So that's how goals and non-goals have been differentiated. And on what basis have we done that? So prioritization is done by comparing on impact, reach, and effort. So impact is how it will be helping the users. Effort is how much development effort will actually go into it, and reach is how many users will you be able to reach from that, right? So on the basis of that, you can figure out which one we have to pick and which one we don't have to pick.
Uh, Ankita has raised some hand. You can go ahead.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So for prioritization,
Hmm.
apart like it sounds very subjective the way you have decided. Is there some model or like some other way? So this is very obvious for us since we know we could have been the end user, but what if we weren't? So how do we go about the prioritization? Are there some other models specific to prioritization? And
There are some frameworks that you can use, right? So this, the one we have written here, impact, reach, and effort, are is a subset of a framework called RICE framework, RICE. So RICE is reach, impact, confidence, and effort. We can include confidence right now, there's no problem, but some of you who don't have a tech background, confidence might be a difficult thing, because confidence means how, okay, I'll go through everything. Reach is how much that feature has a reach. So let's say if I add search for model, right? So search for model will have the highest reach because everyone first comes to search for a model. Nobody can directly go to let's say filtering without searching. First the user has to search, then maybe compare, then maybe filter and all, and then find a dealer. The number, and when it goes down the funnel, then there will be few who want to buy now. So research will have the highest reach. Similarly, impact. Impact is how useful that feature is. Now filtering after searching, everyone needs to filter. So filter will give them highest impact because uh, there are 25 to 30 features, and for everything I have to, I mean, I can't go and check every car and every parameter. So filtering will give me a very easy access to, you know, look around and quickly get an overview. Okay, this is okay, this is the picture around here. And effort. Now effort is, let's say if I want to build something like, now this solution can also be built like I'm wearing a VR glass and I'm giving you a virtual reality of 2 or 3 cars, and you can look at those to buy or not. But this sounds cool, this sounds amazing, but the effort is tremendous. I mean, you're building a whole VR system out of it. So effort is basically the development effort that you need to build this. And the fourth one, which is in RIC, is confidence. Confidence is, if I build this, how good results will be out of this, how accurate the output will be. So let's say if I build something like I don't have anything else. So maybe something like prediction. Okay. So if I'm recommending the cars by myself to user based on either his or her previous searches or the geography, how accurate will it be? So that will explain that how confident am I about this feature. So this is a framework that you can use. Others are RISE. So there's Kano model, there's Moscow. We'll mention this in the email that we send post session. So the point we did not, because we did not mention is it here is some of this, like Moscow again is subjective. Even we use RISE. We didn't use a lot of others because those will need a lot of collaboration with actual development team and all. Okay, so I'm wasting a resource here, but we'll also send this post session.
Just adding to that, basically, so what the question in your mind must be that this prioritization, this has to be objective, and right now it's looking subjective, right? So from a cases point of view, so this is something which you have to make a submission in 2 pages, right? So we will cover the subjective, the more objective form of prioritization in a slide, which is just 2 slides after this. But there are 2 kinds of prioritization which you will be doing. Firstly, so you identified some user needs. This user has 20 needs, and I'll only focus on top 2, right? So you can make a complete table and give scores to each of these and do all that, but that is not required at this point, right? That is not required from the submission which you are making for Microsoft or maybe some other case challenge, right? There will be another prioritization. So for these needs, you will decide some features, right? The next step will be to decide what features you will build to solve these needs. There we will come up with the metrics where you will see what's the impact, what's the development effort of each feature, and then we will do the prioritization based on that. So you will understand it once you move to the later slide.
Thank you.
Okay, so based on this, we figured, so we have this search for model, compare, finding a dealer, and filtering, and if it suits my date. These are the 5 goals that we picked, and then we built solutions around them. It might get some, don't worry that you don't have to remember all this. We'll show you some wireframes and you will get that quickly. But right now, so these are the solutions that we built. We gave detailed specifications around this, like comparison cards. If you want a analogy, you can remember, you can link it to the mobile comparison in Flipkart and Amazon. Then filtering, some, I won't explain filtering. If you do filtering every day in all your apps. Contact dealership, so you take the user to directly Bing Maps. Then cover most specifications. So this is something that I found from BCG report, that so that report gave me some parameters, that these are the 3 to 5 parameters that user likes the most. So like if you take mobile, right? So mobile people now know that camera and memory is something that user like the most. You can find this either by talking to people, or such things by talking to people, or through some report. Show variants and sources of data. Okay, I'm skipping this. We'll explain this in the wireframe as well.
Yeah. So just a thing about the specification, right? So the thing which you are submitting to Microsoft or any other company is a Word document which will explain the complete feature which you have in your mind, right? So we are spending like small amount of time on solution, but actually solution is the most important part of the complete specification, right? So right now there must be some solution in your mind. We will show cars and we will show comparison and all that. But when you are writing a specification, you need to ensure that you explain each and every part about the specification. So like in my specification and in also in Shubham's, um we explained each and every feature. So for example, I explained what filtering will do. Now you will think that filtering is something which everyone knows, right? But as a project manager, you have to explain it to the developers that this is the feature. When I'll click on this, a drop down will come, and then you have to select this, you have to select OK, and then all only that data will show up, right? That's one part of it, which is add filtering, which looks like a small feature. Now, the last part is, let's say, sources of data. So you can also say that where will this data come from? You can't just say that you have to build a database where you will have the information of all the cars and everything, right? Bing might not have it right now. So you can say that you can integrate with some websites where you can get data from API integration. So API is a kind of integration where you can get live data and uh, and stuff like that. So what I really mean is that in your Word document, you need to make sure that each and everything should be explained as if you're explaining it to a toddler. Okay, like every part has to be explained, and because this document is something which goes to developers, right? Yep.
That
Uh,
that's
yeah.
a really great point. I just want to reiterate. Explain it like you're explaining it to toddler. I mean, that helps in a lot of things, and it clears everything to anyone who is reading. Yeah. So Antriksh, you cover this.
Yep. So this is what I was talking about when you are prioritizing solutions. Okay. So see, so we figured out some user needs. There were, let's say, 10 user needs which we had in mind. Now there can be 20 different solutions, or let's say here we have three different solutions which can solve these needs, right? So for example, if I have to show a comparison model, i can I can either show a comparison model just based on the data that I have, or I can build some AI or ML or some kind of stuff, some kind of funky stuff to show the comparison model. Right now, both of these are solutions. Okay, both of these will solve your user needs. They will improve your metrics, everything. But now you have to compare which solution would you actually like to implement, and this is where an MVP comes up, right? So as you can see, there are three solutions which we have talked about here. Okay, so just to put down a point. So whenever there are live cases, so for example, if you have a case in an interview or you have case on a phone call, then you need to somehow show the prioritization, right? You can tell that this feature has more impact, this feature has more effort, and that's why we'll pick this up. In the specification which you have to submit to for the challenge specifically, it's not necessary that you show this. If you show this, it will be an advantage, but it's not necessary because as we saw, even we didn't have it in our submission, so it might not impact. But it's for sure that if you'll show this, then it won't be a negative point, right? But it has to be definitely shown when you are in a live case. Okay. So how the prioritization works? So you have three solutions in front of you. Okay. Now these parameters which we have written, these are very subjective. So business value, customer benefit, ease of development is something which we wrote down. You can have some different parameters also, right? You might have a parameter as ad revenue if you are from media.net, which is focusing only on from advertisement revenues, right? So here what I have done, I have given marks for these three solutions on the basis of these parameters. And then the grand total is based on some formula. I can assign weightages to these, or I can have some funky formula to get this grand total number. And here I can see that solution 2, even though its business value is less than solution 1, but customer benefit and ease of development is greater than solution 1, and that's why its grand total is more. So I will implement solution 2, right? Now this kind of prioritization you have to do all the time when you are a product manager, because you always have tons of solutions for everything, and that's why you always like to show it when you are solving a case. Okay.
So, Antriksh, so Sanjutta is asking, how do you determine values?
Yeah, so this is very subjective. You like for some things you can have data, right? For example, let's say okay, so for cars, Bing already has data how many people are searching for a car directly in form of a model, right? So how many people are directly saying I want to buy Innova this. So this data can be found from the database, right? So reach is something which you can get from database, but right now you won't have anything, right? So all of this will be subjective for you. Okay, and even in cases all of this can be subjective, but just to show that you know how it can be objectively received, you can just say that user reach or customer benefit is something which we can get an idea from the database only, right? So you can just directly say it in the interview, and the interviewer will obviously like it because they will see that you have some idea where these numbers can come from, right? And you can also say that there is no way to get this number directly, so we can assume this based on our knowledge or based on our customer feedback, right? You can of course talk to customers that these are the solutions which we are talking about, and you can get these numbers. But during an interview, you will always put these numbers based on your complete knowledge, and no one is going to question you unless you are way off. Unless for solution one, business value would be 7, and you are saying business value is 1, right? And only in that case, someone will question you. They won't question you if you're saying it's 5, right? They only want to see that can you prioritize or can you not. That's all.
Siddhant, so yes, wherever you can give database rating, it's great. But as Antriksh said, it won't be possible in the interview. Although we are covering a written case here, so if it's possible to let's say, and somebody's asking how do you define business value and other things. So for business value, let's see, a business value can be customer reach. The more number of customers you have, the more number of revenue, and so on. So then you can, based on the solutions, we can tell them. So let's say one solution covers a hi-fi tech problem with more internet need, and the second one does not. So the one which covers a lot of people, more customers will have more customer reach and higher business value. So that is how you define this business value if possible, and that is how you give a data backing to it. Again, if possible, some of this won't be possible to give us a number always. So be subjective, and it's again, as Antriksh said, you can always go 6, 7 or 7, 8, but please don't go 7 to 1 or 1 to 7. Okay.
And also for the sake of this case submission, I don't think it's required that you actually find the reasons for these numbers. Okay, you just need to have some idea, right? If you can find some reason, that's fine. If you don't, then that's also okay, right? Yeah.
So circles also has summary, but we don't. I mean, we at least we both did not summarize. So and it does not make. I don't know if it makes sense or not, but summarization is definitely needed in a live case. In a PM interview, it's extremely important. But we did not cover it in the written case because, hey, anyways, the written solution is above you. So you might as well ignore this, at least for the written case, or maybe you can add it in a small sense, but it's not exactly a primary thing. But what is very important is the success metrics and KPI. Now, I'm not sure if this was covered in the first session. I joined late. So success metrics and KPI is, by the way, key performance indicator. It tells you how successful or how bad your product or your feature is. So in our feature, we released filtering and sorting, right? Did we give a good number of filters to the user? Did we give appropriate number and appropriate types of component to filter? If yes, there will be a lot of clicking. And if there is a click to open it, that means the filtering is successful. Same for model. Are we suggesting good models? If we are suggesting, then the person will go and click on model, or he or she won't. Time spent on web page. Well, if you are giving good suggestion, then the time will increase. If not, again, same thing. And if the whole point of this whole case is right, why will Bing want this kind of solution? Because they want to grab the number of the people who want to search for car from all the competitors to their own website. So if the number of car searches increases, if there is a trend, if it increases over time, then that means our feature is successful. So these are the few success metrics. Okay. There, I can't say, Antriksh, maybe you can pitch in, but I don't know if there is a specific number. I'll prefer something around 6, 7, 5 maybe.
Yep. So that's right. You can give. There is no minimum number. You can give 4, 5, 6, 7, anything like that, right? But it's very important both in a live interview and in the written submission. And I think they've also mentioned it in the document. You have to mention the metrics, because what many product managers do, they make a feature, it goes live, and then no one tracks what exactly the feature is doing, right? But as a good product manager, you always need to make sure that the reason why the feature was built, the reason why millions of dollars went into a feature. So there should be some metrics. So ideally, when if this thing is going to get implemented in Bing, there will be around 20 to 30 metrics which are just measuring the success of this feature, right? Because a lot of investment goes into that. So, but you only have to list 5 or 6 such metrics. Now, these can be usage metrics or these can be success metrics, right? So, for example, the first 3, they are usage metrics. So, usage metrics means that how much your feature is being used, right? That click to open rate is something which tells how much your people are clicking, how much people are spending time. The fourth one is not how much your feature is used. It's actually, is the feature successful or not. There must be some reason why the feature was built, and that's why is it successful or not. So this is what Shubham also covered. That whatever comes to your mind, just put it down and make sure that you're listing 3, 4 metrics or maybe 6, 7 metrics. And the more the better, but don't make it 10 metrics because then it will just be an overdo. Right?
Yeah, so this was my solution. So I don't know how or why, but after me and Antriksh, we talked with each other. Our solutions have some amount of similarity. There might have been a different solution, right? There were around 5 winners, 5 teams who won, the top 3, and then there were special mentions as well. So whatever, I mean, whatever that be. So this was my solution. So this is the wireframe that we created. Wireframes can be created by Balsamic. We'll send you the link, or you can play around with PPT, but it's kind of hectic. If you are good with Photoshop, you can do that. But again, see, it's not that your wireframe should be very designed. I mean, it should look cool or something that you're actually submitting to a company. It should portray all the important features that you want to show. So I'll start with my wireframe. So these are the so the number 1 is you'll search. Okay, I'll start with searching best car in India. This is the step 1. Step 2, I'll get some of these recommendation. Step 3, there will be some filter. I can click on those and I can filter among those, and I'll get better cars or better suggestions. So this is the first solution that we'll have. These are the comparison cards. We have not covered, as if you remember, there was a non-goal that I don't want to cover all the specification. It does not make sense to cover all the specification on Bing page. You might as well go to the original page. So we covered the 4 or 5 important ones. These are the ones we thought are important. Okay. And then there's rating and all. Yeah. And in my solution, we went a bit different way, that they said not to impact the revenues negatively. We thought we might as well increase the revenue. So we added a sponsored. If you see this car name 3, this is a sponsored product. That means Bing can earn some money out of this this real estate, where people from different car manufacturers can pay Bing to portray to display their car as a sponsored product. And 1, 2, 3. So this is the 3 step. Then there's a 4th step. After you click one, you will see the full screen version where you'll see more specifications here. But again, these are just, I guess, some 10, 12. And there are multiple models that we want to compare. And then you can see multiple features and colors. Yeah. And this is something that we did. If you see the number 5 at the bottom here, we have find nearest showroom. That is where at least my solution ended, that I am giving you a point to find the nearest showroom. We are not going beyond that. We are not helping you buy the car because it's still a possibility, right? Because on Google, you can buy the plane ticket. It will redirect you and all and all. But we limited ourselves to find nearest showroom because we thought that covering everything might go create a havoc. This is Antriksh.
Yep. So as you must have seen in Shubham's wireframe, the wireframe are really detailed, right? And it's always good if you detail the wireframe that much. So in both of our wireframes, we have actually listed down the links also. So here you can see top 10 small cars in India. All of this is something which we have written, right? And this is like after 1 year, we got to know that we have done all had almost similar wireframes. Uh, and I think that's also the reason that when they see that your wireframes are made with that much depth of knowledge, they see that you have actually spent much time. So, for example, I spent a complete day in making this wireframe, right? So, so that's why it's always useful if you make the wireframe as with as much information as possible in a clear way, right? When you see information on Google cards or whenever you see it on Bing, it's quite clear, right? So here, uh, for example, I had two parts of the wireframe. The first part was in a condensed way. I showed all the cars, right? So I've written cars under 10 lakhs India. What it's showing, it's showing you all the filters which are available, and it's giving you an option to sort these results, and then it's giving you an infinite scroll of cards, right? So where you are getting the price, the rating, here you can get an image and all the information about the card. There is also an option to go right, and you can scroll through these cards, right? The next use case which we had to cover was that for a particular car, let's say Innova, I want to see the other variants also. I want to see the petrol, automatic, and all that, right? So when you click on show other variants, right? Uh, Shubham, can you move to the next slide? Yeah. So when you click on show other variants, the page just expands, and then you see all these variants, right? You must have seen stuff like that on Google if you use that, right? So this is something which I made, uh, and and you can see that there is a lot of detail in that, right? I have numbers and I have different kind of variants and everything. So I think that's something which they saw in the specification, that too much time spent in the wireframe, and it's actually looking quite clean from a wireframe perspective, right? So that's why I try to do some research that what exactly are you going to make. First, always try to make something on a using pen and paper in rough, and then go to Balsamic or whatever tool you're using. We will suggest go to Balsamic because they have inbuilt templates of browser and all of this. They have inbuilt templates of drop down menu, filter, buttons, and everything, right? So you can just try Balsamic, and if you're good at something else, then you can also try that software.
Okay, so just few things. I mean, we did not add a lot. We don't want to overload you. Don't go for integration solutions. I mean, so see, what we mean by this is, Antriksh, do you have an example in mind? I can't remember one.
Yep. So, for example, I can take the case of their present challenge also. Okay, it will just give you an idea that so okay, let's take the case of PGP2 challenge. So they have to make a change in the Zoom in the Teams app, and they have to improve the experience of watching IPL, ISL matches with friends, right? Now, the first thing which can come to your mind is that integrate with Hotstar and show the Hotstar match on Teams app, right? Now, this is a very easy solution, right? It's just you have to integrate with Hotstar, and you're not looking at the business point of it, that how much money will go into the integration, and will Hotstar be actually be interested in doing that or not, right? So it's stuff like that you try not making very easy integration. You can always look for integrations for data. So for example, in my solution, I had said that where will I get the data from. I am not asking Microsoft to make a database of all the cars and everything. I told that you can get this data from an API connection with cardeko.com for India, right? So what whenever a person will search, you can make a live API call. So API is just something. I hope you know what API is. So API is whenever you want to get the data from someone else's database, right? So you can make a live API call and get the data from cardeko.com database and then show it, right? So that's the maximum integration which I said, right? But if your complete solution is going to be an integration, then that's something which you should not be doing.
Yeah, I mean, so see, these kind of things, even they know, even the companies know that we can integrate and we can make it better. But there are a lot of parameters which sometimes are infeasible. Like, will exactly like Antriksh said, will Hotstar will even be interested or not? So don't suggest such kind of solution as at least the primary solution. Second is no hi-fi solution. Please, I mean, yes, AI, ML, VR, all sounds cool, all sounds amazing. Everyone is using that. Don't go overboard. Don't do overkill. I mean, don't start suggesting everything that our AI model will suggest the best car out from from the friends, from their Facebook list or something like that. Or I'll create a AR augmented reality solution or a VR solution. See, until and unless your product that you're working on. So for us, it was Bing. So it already works on some kind of AI. So I can say that you can recommend some cars based on the filters that they put in. That is okay. Now it's not a VR product. So building something like a VR by the developers is quite infeasible, because they'll need some kind of a whole year or something. So don't suggest solution that okay, it will take a lot of time and it might be impractical, because that does not even suit the product that you're working on. So be practical what you're suggesting. And the third one is quite intuitive. So be clean and detailed with mockups. Don't keep it messed up. And you can always take inspiration from other products, right? So we took inspiration from Car Dekho, some car comparison websites and other things. So I took an inspiration from Flipkart mobile comparison. So analogies always help. So you can take from there and keep it clean and detailed. Yes, there are some question. How do you determine the cost? Amrita, if you mean by cost, if you mean development cost and all, right now I'll suggest talk with some of your developer friend, because they might know that is it feasible or not. And please, developer friend, don't be competitive. Please help them. Apart from that, I mean, in real life you can ask developers, but now you can ask your tech friends. Yes, Aditi, go ahead. I see a raised hand.
Yeah, so the solution that you have suggested, the wireframe, it is similar to what actually Google is doing. So it is like copying the feature of some other application. So isn't this means it shouldn't be allowed? Like in the first prep session, we were told that you should be knowing the features of the most popular apps, so that while you're suggesting some features for a particular application, that shouldn't be already existing one.
Yep. So as far as I know, because the last time we got this case, and before writing the solution, I definitely made a check on Google, and it wasn't there. And I think
I
did you?
did too. I did.
Yes, I don't think it was there last year. Like obviously, if it were there, we wouldn't have done that, because it's a classic Me Too solution directly from a competitor, right? So 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 if
Yeah.
it yeah, but your point is completely right. If the competitor has the same solution, you don't have to write that out, right? Because that's a totally Me Too solution.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
So it's been an year. I mean, they might have added later or something. But yeah, we did take analogy. So as Antriksh said, he took an analogy from Car Dekho. I don't remember the car comparison websites, but I took some from the car comparison website and Flipkart and all. So you can take analogies, but yes, definitely not a Me Too solution. Do we have to mention inspiration sources? No, please. I mean, I don't suggest.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
In case we are interested in product, how do we... So, Sai Praveen, I don't know what SPA is. Do you know, Antriksh?
No, what are you asking? Can you
Single page architecture, like for the results to show on the same page.
No, I don't even know what that is. So
Single page architecture is not the solution. I mean, it depends. I mean, ours both, nahi. Yeah, both of our solution got fit in as SPA, but again, it's not something that you have to mandate or something. You can all change it as you want. For others who don't know what's single page architecture, it means that solutions that are fit in the single page and you don't have to move anywhere in different tab or not. Please, this sounds a lot of technical, right? But if you see our solution and okay, we are close. So I'll quickly show my solution, and then so yeah, resources. I'll ignore this. We'll send you this. So if you see our solution, it's not at all technical. Okay, it's more of the user perspective and not how we developed it or anything. I'll quickly show the solution and I will see if we can send this or not. Just a sec. So my point was, don't get scared with all the tech terms like SP and all. So it's not a mandate. Is my solution visible?
yep.
Okay. Yeah. So this is something blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So it started with problem definition. We gave a proper user journey. If Bill goes to Bing, this will happen and all. Then current user journey. So Bill goes and Bill searches for car. Then he compares. Then he checks the budget. He finds it, test drives. So finds for a test drive and all. What is the what is the thinking in the back of his mind, which is the best car, what are the features, what are the problems that he faces, various websites that we all showed on the screen. Then goals and non-goals. So yeah, we said, right, reach, impact, and this. So it's just in paraphrased, it's most frustrating and time consuming. So with I took one of the customer part, and there was a reach part. I don't know if it's written or not. So these are the goals that we took, some of the non-goals. Then yeah, feature description, everything explained in detail, recommendations, how will the recommendation come from, where will the recommendations come from. Then it will be connected to Bing Maps and everything. So everything explained in detail. What are the pros and cons of solution? Be blunt here. You know that your solution is good, but you should always tell that, yeah, these are the cons. Don't show a very golden picture. Then this was some advertisement. This is some additional, you might or might not add this. Yeah, then success rate. I'm not very happy with the success rate I wrote. This was again a year ago, which I don't know, when I didn't know a lot of things, but there are just 4 here, and one of them is again wrong. And then this is the wireframe. So that was my solution. So if you see, the only reason to show this was that there's nothing technical. You talk about few things like, yes, this will come from an API integration from here. You don't have to write that there will be this many endpoints for API, or we'll use this KNN model for AI prediction. That is not the aim here. Show them that how the solution will be, and show them what your solution has, from the customer point of view. No need of going into the technical depths. Just give a technical overview if it contains also, if it has some of those aspects. Antriksh, you have anything to close? We just have 2 or 3 minutes.
No, I think I think Shubham showed the specification and it was quite clear. So his specification was actually more detailed than mine was. And so there's just 2 things which I would like you to note down. Firstly, when you're making the wireframe, so basically there are 2 parts for the complete specification. One is the wireframe, and one is you explaining the solution. And for explaining the solution, you go through user needs, prioritization, and all that, right? So just make sure that the wireframe is detailed, it's clean, which we have already said. It's very important. And second thing is that whatever your feature is, just explain each and every part of that feature. Okay, the smallest part which you can explain, because think it like this: in a real company, your specification will go to a developer, and they will just read it through a document and start developing, right? So you should know that from a developer's perspective, they should be able to make a feature directly from a Word document, right? So that's why the detail is very important. Okay, I think that's it. If you have some last questions, we can take that, and we also.
So just if you have, we are here for a minute or so. We are always available. Antriksh, so I'll also add Antriksh on the enthusiastic group. So on that, we both will be available. You can tag me or Antriksh or anyone, by the way, and you can ask us question there. Anything related to case or anything else as well. We'll send you some of the links. So Balsamic link and other links on mail. Apart from that, thanks everyone for coming. If you have, we are here for today. Utkarsh, yeah, go ahead.
So actually, I did not fill the form for this meet, and I am also not part of the group. So I just wanted to ask, is it possible for me to?
So anyways, this mail was only, so we wanted to check the amount of people, so the number of people who are interested, because we were thinking to cover it in the first session. There's no restriction. We are anyways sending this to some around 150 or 200 people. Just in case it does not reach you, ask somebody to forward it to you. Okay.
Sure.
Or better way, I'll also add it on BB. So don't worry. Ankita, go ahead. Last question.
So is there a way to get a cracked version of Balsamic? How
So
did
Balsamic is free. Yeah. It's free for the first month, I guess, and you only have 1 month to make that.
Okay.
Okay, so sorry peeps, we can't wait much because anyways you have some session. So thanks a lot everyone for joining. Hope it was helpful. If anything, we are available on the enthusiastic group, the WhatsApp group. See you then.
Okay. Thank you everyone. Bye.
Shubham?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
What's the name of the WhatsApp group?
I'll circulate this whole group amongst your JD1, JD2. Cool.
Yeah. And one more question I have.
Yeah.
That you specified 2 things, goals and non-goals. So after specifying that, you just proceeded ahead with the goals part, not the non-goals part. Am I right?
Yeah.
And the table that you showed, that prioritization table, उसमें you specified solution 1, 2, 3. So goals में like you have specified different solution. एक filtering था, एक showing the cards था, and so after showing the prioritization and selecting कि this is solution का maximum points है, so then you build your solution upon build your report on that solution only, or you created like you analyze each and every solution after showing the prioritization table as well.
No, so once you have prioritized which solution you are going to make, okay, then you are going to make your feature, your report on that solution only, right? And that process has to be shown in the specification, and then you go forward with that solution itself.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
I have a question. Hello.
Guys, session close करना पड़ेगा. Sorry.
Yeah, दूसरा session है. Sorry. WhatsApp पे कर लेना यार. मतलब
WhatsApp कर देना directly. You can directly just ping us. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Paramit. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Anytime.
Bye bye.